It's very honest, and there is this
In reality.
truth to like hold.
So in reality. Sorry.
While we painstakingly wait for Outerbanks' second season to come out, discovering some interesting facts behind the show's creation and characters is always a good distraction. So for all the starved pogues and secretly kooks out there, join us as we present to you some 10 intriguing Outerbanks behind the scenes that you need to know. Warning, spoilers ahead.
Just a reminder about our new giveaway. We're giving away the new iPad Pro or the new iMac Pro. The choice is yours. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple.
Number 10. Chase Stokes wasn't so far away from John B's character. In a phone interview with Nyland, Chase Stokes, who played the role of Pogue's charismatic ringleader, John B., revealed that like his character, he was used to living by the beach and would occasionally surf with his friends. Stokes said it was kind of reminiscent of his childhood days, growing up near Cocoa Beach in Florida. And like most teenagers, he was a bit of a rebel too back in high school. We could say he was funneling his young self while playing John B. What's more, he's even dating his co-star, Madeline Klein, who played Sarah. The two revealed it in an Instagram post back in June.
She's like, "You won't do it," and I was like, "Watch this." Pulled out my phone. Like,
honestly, everyone was just waiting for it to finally happen. And not just Stokes, main cast members Davis, Rudy Pankow, and Madison Bailey all agreed they shared a lot of similarities with the characters they played. Well, except for Klein, who didn't share Sarah's mean girl and bit sleazy persona. Maddie, who played Key, could even be a real-life Pogue since she was originally from North Carolina too. Number 9. Outerbanks wasn't filmed in North Carolina. For those who don't know, Outerbanks is actually a real place. It's a string of small islands off the east of North Carolina and southeast of Virginia. Now, some international viewers would have probably brushed it off or never noticed, but if you were a local seeing the show for the first time, you might have been confused as to why most of the scenes resembled landmarks in Charleston, South Carolina, as opposed to the show's title. Jonas Pate, co-creator and executive producer of the show, actually grew up near Outer Banks and was residing in Wilmington, North Carolina when he took inspiration for the show's landmarks and sceneries. So why didn't they film in North Carolina? Pate explained in interviews that Netflix encouraged them to change the filming site, partly due to the state's controversial House Bill 2, or more commonly as the Bathroom Bill. The bill required transgender citizens to use bathrooms according to the sex in their birth certificates. Though the bill was repealed in 2017 due to heavy criticisms of it being anti-LGBTQ and dozens of protests which led to huge consumer boycotts, it wasn't completely revoked.
And there's still pieces of that law still on the books, and that's why we couldn't shoot in North Carolina for Outer Banks.
In the end, Pate willingly agreed and decided to move to Charleston, where filming began in May until September of 2019. Number 8. OBX cast chemistry transcends even off-screen. It isn't always a downer when you get attached to TV shows or brands that consist of close friends, but then we find out that behind the scenes, they're really awkward with one another. Or worse, even hate each other. Thankfully, that's not the case for our beloved Pogues and Pogue at heart. The co-stars are actually pretty close, and it's one of the reasons why OBX fans love the show even more. So, how are they all genuinely close? As it turns out, during the months of filming, most of the cast actually lived in a one-apartment complex. Rudy Pankow, JJ, and Stokes were roomies. Same with Davis, Pope, and Austin North, who played the antagonist, Topper. They were just doors away from each other's rooms. Klein, Sarah, lived just a floor below them. Bailey, Key, and Starkey, Raffi on the other hand, lived just a few minutes away from the complex. After the filming, Klein, Pankow, Stokes, and Starkey were even quarantined together for a month and a half. Stokes mentioned that they would usually all hang out, eat, play, and have fun together during the weekends. Imagine all that time living together. No wonder they have such good chemistry. Number 7. John B. and Sarah's romantic scenes went through some minor tweaks. Remember that scene when John B. and Sarah were kissing under the rain, and all the girls swooned?
Tell me why I'm feeling like I missed you.
Well, the rain wasn't part of the original script. However, on the day of the episode's filming, it suddenly poured. When that happened, Klein told Cosmopolitan that the team looked at each other and decided that it would actually be better to go all the way, full Notebook vibes. Speaking of romantic scenes, we can't leave out John B. and Sarah's love scene in the bell tower. Prior to shooting, Klein told the episode's director that instead of being more physical, it'd be better to focus on the emotional intimacy and trust between John B. and Sarah. This was to better highlight the contrast between Sarah's demeanor when she was with Topper as opposed to her being with John B. Number 6. Davis and Bailey had some interesting reputations on set. Davis was actually the most likely to remember all his lines. The co-star Stokes even told BuzzFeed that he was like a human dictionary the whole time of the shooting, whereas Stokes and Rudy would usually forget their lines.
Hello.
Ironically, when he gave fellow cast members a small gift with the words "Pogues for life," he spelled the Pogs wrong. The actor is known to be a meme lover and a good prankster. The cast also adore him for his Morgan Freeman imitations. Like Davis, Bailey also had a reputation among the group. She's a selfie lover, and most likely responsible for those beautiful behind-the-scenes shots you see on Instagram. She's most likely to finish in one take and be caught late on set with a cup of coffee in her hand. Number 5. Almost everything in the show is local. Location scout Linda Lee said any major production requires the support of entire communities to make them happen successfully. Executive producer Pate had a whole Charleston crew who was in charge of almost every detail, big and small, in order to make the show really authentic. From set designs, scene locations, filming crew, underwater and surfing shots, music, costumes, and even the stickers and artwork, all local-based. The furniture and decors in the set were especially selected and bought from suppliers and vendors in Charleston. The underwater scenes were done in a local training facility for scuba divers, using no green screens.
All of these shots were no green screens, like we're actually there. Just being out there was so fun.
Local facilities were tapped for the cast scuba, surfing, and diving lessons. The South Carolina Film Commission also played a huge part in giving access to certain sites and neighborhoods. All in all, Pate reported that they used and rented approximately 200 local businesses throughout the entire film production. Number 4. Stokes originally auditioned for Topper, while Panko really wanted to play as JJ. Can you imagine Chase playing the role of anyone other than John B? And Topper no less? That would have changed the vibes of everything. So why wasn't John B's character given to him at first? It was because Rudy Panko was originally casted to be John B, despite him wanting to play as JJ. Actually, the actor said on US Weekly that for 2 weeks of chemistry reads he went through, John B, Raffi, and JJ. Since he read through as John B for the last audition in LA, he flew to Charleston thinking he was going to play that character. As it turns out, the casting directors were still undecided, and a frustrated Panko was made to read 3 new scenes as JJ once again.
They send me 3 new scenes, and I'm like, all right, this is ridiculous. I was kind of stressed out, just a little bit.
Fortunately, this is where Chase Stokes comes in. That's when I met Chase, and when I met Chase, the following chemistry read. It was crazy because I even saw it, said Panko. And the rest is history. Phew, it's a good thing everything fell into place. Number 3. The Chapel Hill mistakes has a good explanation. The scene in episode 4 of the show where John B and Sarah go to Chapel Hill to look at archives via riding a ferry garnered a lot of criticism from viewers. According to netizens, it was the show's one obvious flaw. Chapel Hill is a landlocked town, and it was impossible to reach it by merely riding a ferry. Showrunner Pate later explained that they knew about this, and the original script was for John and Sarah to take a ferry from the island to a coast and then ride Uber to Chapel Hill. However, the Uber driver scene was completely cut off, and the production crew didn't realize until the end that it would look like Chapel Hill was near the coast instead. In spite of that, it was a small error in the show's grand success. Number 2. Challenging first day for Stokes. In his interview with Build Series, Stokes said that since he came in much later than the others, besides the daily bloating and swimming lessons, he didn't have much time to prepare for the show. The very first scene that Stokes filmed was when Sheriff Perkins checks up on John and asks about a sunken ship in episode 1, the pilot. Perkins was played by True Blood's Adina Porter, who was nominated for both Primetime Emmy and Saturn Awards. Stokes described it as being thrown in with the wolves, as he had to immediately act alongside Porter.
And it was like either you sink or swim. I knew kind of the nuances of the character. We had this idea that Jonas and I talked about early on. And so I kind of had that in the back of my head.
Despite all this, Stokes trusted his instincts and obviously did a splendid job as John B. Number 1. The future of Outerbanks. It was a big relief to fans when Netflix finally gave the green light for a second season back in July. Honestly, it would have been a riot if they didn't. Interestingly, Since the beginning, Pate and his creative team had already envisioned and planned for the story to run for 4 or perhaps even 5 seasons. Though there are no definite dates yet for Season 2, rest assured writing has already begun. Following how Season 1 ended, Pate said in Entertainment Weekly that there will definitely be episodes that will take place in the Bahamas for the second season, but it will always come back to the Outer Banks. How the Pogues will dramatically reunite is something the crew is excited to explore. Raffi and Topper would definitely have big roles in Season 2, and we'll get new villains along with the old ones. All in all, it looks like there's a lot to look forward to next season. So better strap in, unpack your swimsuits and surfboards, cause it looks like the summer is far from over. So what do you think? Were some of these offset secrets interesting? Did it change some of your perspectives towards the show? Or did we miss some notable behind the scenes? If so, let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And I'll see you next time on the channel.
Just a reminder about our new giveaway. We're giving away the new iPad Pro or the new iMac Pro. The choice is yours. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple.